Now we will talk about the topic traditional controlling techniques. So we know what is controlling. It is a process where we try to determine what is the task to be accomplished and we try to evaluate the performance. Suppose if the performance is being achieved according to the standard what has been fixed, then the control techniques are good. Suppose if there is a deviations or there is a deviation from the actual performance with the standard performance fixed, then we find out what is the reason for deviation, how to rectify the deviation or how to take corrective measures so that the performance what would have taken should be according to the plan. So it is like verifying whether everything is occurring in conformity with the plan what we have adopted or based on the plan we have given or the instructions what we have already issued. So the point is in case if there is any deviations or some weaknesses in the plans what have been fixed, we have to find out why there is a weakness and rectify it. So that is why we use this controlling techniques. So now we will talk about the traditional controlling techniques. So as far as the controlling techniques is concerned, we have two methods. We have arranged it in two ways. One is a traditional controlling techniques and another one is a modern or the contemporary controlling techniques. So this slide video will be focusing on the traditional controlling techniques, and the next video which will be posted will be on the modern controlling techniques, or you also call them as a contemporary control. So we will talk about the controlling techniques. Why do we have this controlling techniques? These controlling techniques, the reason is to have effectively control the organizational activities, and also we have to look at the techniques, what are the techniques available and which technique is more suitable in order to control the organizational activities. We can choose the particular technique. And regarding the manager, he should have some knowledge about these techniques, and based on this knowledge what he has and the organizational climate which is existing, he can choose which type of technique can be adopted or applied. So based on that only we have two techniques, as I told you. One is traditional technique which we will see now, and the modern technique which we will see in the next video. So this control techniques are in two ways. We can call it as traditional control techniques, or you also call them as modern control techniques or advanced control techniques or contemporary control techniques. So the traditional techniques has been classified as a personal observation, budgeting, break-even analysis, a financial statement, statistical data and report, setting examples, standard costing and return instruction. So these are the things, and still more there, but for the importance we have taken these 8 methods. Now we will see what is this traditional control method, and in that we have this personal observation method. So we know personal observation is the oldest method where we just look at the information. So we have a quick look at the information about the employee by just observing him, and we put the employee, that is the focus is more on the work rather than how he is wasting time. So we focus on, so how we look at the persons and how we turn out the obligation made by me on the part of the management. So regarding statistical data method, what we do is we use some tables, charts, diagrams like graphs, pie diagram, all these data are used. So this is a statistical inference from the statistical data what we give. So we get a presentation, and the presentation purely depends upon the collection of data, how accurately we have collected the data and how accurately we have given a pictorial representation or a graphical representation of the data. So this is much useful for the managerial control. Now we will see the why this personal observation method is still called as a traditional method, and now we are using this method because it is like one of the best method where we can have face-to-face contact and we can look at the person. So the managers try to collect first-hand information, and it is also creating a psychological pressure on the employees because somebody is watching us. So what will we do when somebody is watching us? We will be performing well. Because when somebody is watching us, we will be always aware that we are being watched, so we have to do it correctly. So personally we will be observed in the job, but still, as we know, this cannot be done in a very large organization because we have lot of people working over there. So it is a time consuming method and it is not suitable for all kinds of job. Regarding the statistical and report, as we know, statistical analysis is only based on the accuracy of the data what have been given, and it is in the form of like we use averages, percentages and ratio analysis also, and this data is always in the form of diagrammatic representations, like we use bar diagram, pie chart or histogram, so that when we look at the picture itself, the inference will be easily understandable, and it is also in the form of report. So a report is a statement what has been represented in the data. So all the information we get, and based on that we can decide the controlling function from the statistical data. Now the advantages of budgeting. So this is also another important traditional method. Why do we have this budgeting? So we know whenever budgeting is there, we will first define the goal and objectives. That is the advantage. Why do we have budgeting? Budgeting is always based on the present. We forecast the future. So budgeting is always forecasting what will be the future of it. So we always think about the future and we plan for the future. So here budgeting is always helpful for resources allocations. What is the resources available and how much is to be allocated? So that is the reason why do we have budgeting. It also try to uncover the potential bottlenecks. So what are the hurdles in the process of attaining? So what will be the problems and possible solutions also will be given. That is it is uncovering the potential bottlenecks, and it is trying to coordinate the activities, and very importantly, budget is nothing but this giving us a communication. This could be the result. So based on that, all the plans will be communicated. So this is the budgeting. Now we will look at the features of budgeting control. As I told you, this budget can be specifically done for each department, like we have a production department, marketing department, sales department. So here what happens is every department they can have their own budget, and it is the plans and objectives which are being prepared before the management, and based on this the plans or the organization goals can be set. So this is like a supplementary to the management process, so where they decide about it. And this budgeting control, what it happens is it is trying to coordinate. It is trying to coordinate the plans. So the plans what has been done by the department wise, it will be coordinated, and they prepare the master budget. So based on the each department budget, a master plan or a master budget is being prepared. So in that, it is very easy for us now to go for comparison. So when we talk about the actual performance with the budgeted figures, so we have, for example, budgeted figure is 200, the actual performance is 150. So we can find out why there is a deviation of 50, performance is low. So we can find out the variations. So we can even rectify why those variations have happened. So budgetary control will be trying to give us revealing the factors why there is a deviations and how the corrective measures can be taken. And if needed, budgets are also revised, and based on the conditions we can make some changes also. So it is helping to maintain the budget. So this is how the budgetary control system is a part of controlling. And the benefits of budget is it is given in a very better understanding, because as we know, budgeting is a foremost thing. It is not only related to control, it is related to the economy of the country also. So we will know the reasons why the budget is being prepared, the benefits of it. So it is required at all levels of management to decide about the goals. That is the planning process. So based on the budget only we go for plans. So it is giving us a definite objective. So objective is fixed in order to evaluate the performance. And it is also creating as a warning. See, when some problem is going to arise. So when the problem is being arised, before the problem is arising or at the early stage itself, a warning is being given to us. So based on the warning, we can even rectify, or we can even deviate, or we can properly set right. So that is why budgeting is much essential, and as already told, it is a facilitating coordinating of activities, and it is creating awareness on the management about the overall operations and performance. As based on this, we have already seen that different departments, they have own budgets. So based on the different department budget, master budget is prepared. So master budget will give management a greater awareness, and it is initiating some motivation with respect to the personnel, because they are attaining the meet planned objective. Because of this communication plans, it is easy for them. So they are being motivated, the personals, in order to achieve the plan. Now this is the budgetary control types. We have the operational budgetary control, cash flow budgetary control, and capex budgetary control. So as far as the budgetary control is concerned, it is covering the revenue and operating expenses. So these is with respect to day-to-day affairs, like running the business day-to-day essentials. So this is with respect to operating. So in order to operate the business daily, we need something. So revenue. So it is covering the what all the revenue and what are the expenditures. So this is with respect to revenue expenditure. So in case of capex, we talk about the capital expenditure. Like we take the one-time investment like building or machinery purchase. So all these are capital nature, and revenue is always recurring, and capital is non-recurring expenditure. Regarding the cash flow budgetary control, this is very important to know about the working capital management. So what is the amount of working capital required? That is current assets minus current liability will give us the working capital requirement. And how do we manage the cash management? So this is why we prepare the cash flow statements. So now, how does budgetary control is being a part of control technique or to control tool? This is the definition for budget. So we know budget is a financial and quantitative statement which is prepared and approved prior to a defined period of time. So it is always time bound. So we always think about the future and define the time for which we are preparing the budget. So we always forecast the future through the budget. So the characteristics of budget is it is estimating the profit potential. What could be the profit in some future, like, and what are the monetary terms have been stated, and it is always for a period. As I told you, it is mostly for a period of 1 year. And the preparing budget is the commitment of management, because they want to know what could be their future commitments, and it is reviewed and approved. So preparing budget is not a one task, because it should be approved. And if there is any changes, as you know, it is based on the master plan. So it could be even reviewed, and it is giving the financial performance. That is, what is the actual performance and what is the standard budget fixed. So whatever the difference is called as a variance. So that variance is calculated. Now we will talk about the next method is break-even analysis. So here break-even analysis, we try to bring out the relationship between cost, volume and profit. So break-even point is, we know it is where a zone where we call there is a sales volume at which we don't have any profit or no loss. So it is like a safer point. We call that as a break-even point. And it is trying to determine the probable profit and losses. So at each level, that is different level of activity. So when we increase or decrease, what could be the profit or losses? So based on this method, we can analyze that. So here we have a formula how it has been calculated. Break-even point is equal to fixed cost by selling price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. I repeat, this break-even point is equal to fixed cost divided by the selling price per unit minus a variable cost per unit. So this is the formula. How do we determine? And this break-even analysis is telling us the different levels of profit or losses at each level. So this is the formula. So break-even point, if we want in units, single units, it's like unit production we can have, or in values of money we can have it. So in units, same is the case of fixed cost divided by contribution, that is sales minus variable cost per unit. Same here we have the break-even point in value, that is fixed cost by PV ratio, that is contribution by sales into 100. Now next is the standard costing. What is standard costing? This is a technique which is used in order to find out the standards for cost and revenue. So this is another managerial control system, and we use the variance analysis. So it is like a cost or a revenue which is being determined. That is the what is the specific case condition. So based on the specific conditions, we fix the cost, revenue, or the revenue. So it is already a predetermined cost or revenue. So we have some steps. First, we have to set the standard. Then periodically we have to measure the actual results. Then we go for comparing the actual results against the standards already set. Then we decide the actions. When we are deciding the actions, we also know about the correct deviations. Then if there is deviation, we will easily find out. Then we go for reviewing the standard. If there is any deviations, then we have to revise it. So this is the method. So I repeat the process involved in standard costing. So standard costing is a technique where we try to ascertain the predetermined cost or revenue. So based on some specific conditions, we are going to ascertain that. And the steps is, first we set the standard. Then we try to periodically measure the actual results. Then we try to compare actual with the standard result. Suppose if it is okay, then we decide the actions. And if there is any issues, we try to correct the deviation. So why there is a deviations? If there is a deviation, then we have to review the standard. And if you want, even we can revise the standard. The purpose of standard costing is it is giving us the management by exception. It is giving employee motivation and performance evaluation and sensible cost comparison. So this is why we use the standard costing method. Then as far as the advantages is concerned, it is giving us like a quick unit cost ascertainment. So we can easily ascertain the unit cost. And regarding fixing the tenders or quotations, we use this standard costing as based on the terms and conditions only, as we have already seen. We fix it for a period, and based on the thing we decide the future, that is tendering and quotation. And it is one of the best method for cost control mechanism. And already as we have seen the benefits, it is much easy for the performance evaluation. And it is bringing a cost consciousness nature, that is awareness among the people, and it is one of the easy method for accounting system, and it is applying the principle of management. Now this is a standard costing technique, as it is one of the cost control method, and under this method we have material, labor, overheads. So we have the material cost, labor cost, and the overheads cost. So based on that only we are using standard costing system. And what happens is we are recording the actual cost, and we fix the actual cost, and that is recorded. And whatever standard cost has been ascertained, we compare. And if there is any variations, then we take the preventive measures in order to for the future. Now there is a difference between standard costing and budgetary control. As far as the standard costing is concerned, it is for unit costing, and in budget we focus only on the total concept. And the main objective of standard costing is it is like providing a basis for management control. But in budget, it is a basis for preparing budget, that is planning profit. Then standard costs are always fixed on the technical information. But same way budgets are also fixed, but it is fixed on the past records, and we fix it for a future expectations. And standard costing is more sensible only for manufacturing firms, but budgeting is always more for all kinds of business or all kinds of firms. In standard costing, the term is very narrow because, as I told you, it is much related to the manufacturing process. But budget control is wider, and it is having more scope than the standard costing. And in emphasis, the attempts are made to achieve only the standards. Here is in budget, the main consciousness is having cost control. So we try to keep the expenditure within the budgeting figure. So we fix the figures of budgets, and we want the cost to be within the budget figure. So that is why we use budgets. Now these are the tools for financial statement analysis. We use comparative financial statements, we use common size financial statements, and trend analysis and ratio analysis. So comparative financial statements, we go for a comparative. It can be a horizontal analysis or we can even have a vertical analysis. So next one is we have the ratio analysis. So this is another important aspect of a process in which there is a relationship. So we try to find out the relationship of items or groups of items in the financial statements and we present it in the form. So there is a comparison with the 2 or 3 years where we go for finding out the relation of items with that particular group. So this is another important financial tool, and it is mainly trying to interpret the financial statements. So while we are interpreting the financial statements, we can know the strength and weakness of the firm, and we can even know the historical performance. So how the past performance is. So based on that, we can even determine the current financial condition. So this is why we use this, and we have different classification of ratio, and we have the profitable ratio, turnover ratio, short-term solvency ratio, and long-term solvency ratio. So in profitable ratio, we have the ROI, that is return on investment. Then we have the net profit ratio, we have the gross profit ratio. Then to know about the expenses, it can be administrative or overhead expenses, we have the expense ratio. Then we have the operating profit ratio. Regarding the turnover ratio, we have the stock turnover. To know about the debtors payment, we have the debtors turnover. Then the time of credit, we have the creditors turnover ratio. Then we have the fixed asset turnover ratio. Then the working capital turnover ratio. To know the solvency of the company, if it is for a shorter duration, we use liquid ratio, current ratio, and cash position ratio. When we talk about the long-term solvency, then we use the proprietary ratio based on the shareholdings, debt equity ratio, then fixed asset ratio, then the capital gearing ratio. So these are the long-term ratio solvencies which are used. So based on the purpose, how it is being used, we have classified. So once again, I repeat the profitable ratio. We have the return on investment, net profit ratio, gross profit ratio, then expense ratio. So this gross profit and net profit is based on the sales turnover, the sales made. And return on investment is based on the how much we are investing and what is the return period we are, that is based on the payback period or the discounted cash flow method, we use the return. Then based on the stock turnover, then debtors turnover, we have creditors turnover. So all these debtors and creditors will be deciding about the stock turnover, that is with respect to the how much is our stock, that is we will be getting the cash, and the payback period or the time for the payment of the period, that is decided. And we have the current ratio. So this current ratio is trying to bring out the relationship between the current assets and current liability. Liquid ratio is how easily it is encashable with respect to the stock. This is with respect to liquidity ratio. We talk about the situation, the current liquidity statement of the particular firm. Then the long-term solvency ratio, we have the proprietary ratio, debt equity ratio, fixed asset ratio, and the capital gearing. Then regarding the importance of ratio analysis, as this is one of the very important method for financial statements, it is trying to understand the profitability of the company, and it is also analyzing the operational efficiency of the firm. As I told you, liquidity of the firm. It is also identifying risks. So what are the different risks? So we are aware of the risk in the business, and in case of any financial risk, it is very easy to understand the financial risk as well as the business risk. And based on these ratios, we can plan and forecast the future of the firm, and it is very helpful for comparing. As I told you, we go for comparison with the past performance with the future decision. So this is able to go for comparison. Regarding internal auditor, we have the internal auditor who will be doing this. So what he does it is monitoring the internal control, and he is also examining the financial and operating information. He is analyzing the risk management, how the risk is there and what type of management they are doing in order to mitigate the risk. Then they are going for looking into the compliance with legal requirement like SEBI or GST. So they look for the review of complaints with laws and regulations. Then governance, that is the governance with respect to corporate governance. Then the operating of activities. So how the operating activities are done, and they even go for reviewing those